What's in a sentence? What's in a sentence? Well, let's take a look. In grade 4, we learned that a sentence is a complete thought. Let's have a look at this picture. It's of a boy who's running and kicking the ball. We could write a sentence, the boy kicks the ball. We know that it's a complete thought if it has a subject and a verb. In this case, the subject is the boy and the verb is the word kicks. The subject is easy to find. First, find the verb, which is kicks. The subject is the person or the thing that is doing the verb. So, in this case, it's the boy. We also have an object with this sentence, and that is the ball. The object is the thing that is having the verb done to it. So the subject, the person who is doing the verb, the boy, and the object, the thing or person who's having the verb done to them, which is kicks. Now in grade 5, we wouldn't love this sentence if your teacher asks you to write a creative sentence because it's very short. That's more like a grade 1 and 2 sentence. But for the sake of this lesson, I'm going to be keeping the sentences simple. Now you can also break up a sentence into 2 parts. The subject, which we've already spoken about, we know is the boy. And the whole rest of the sentence, everything that follows from the verb onwards, is called the predicate. You have to do this a lot in grade 6, where you have to break up sentences into the subject and the predicate. So remember, the subject is who or what is doing the verb, and the predicate is the rest of the sentence from the verb to the end. Now don't forget that it's not a sentence if it does not have capital letters and punctuation, like a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. And that is why we are so strict in grade 5 that if you write your answers and your sentences without a capital letter, it's actually not a sentence. It's breaking the rules. And if you forget to put a full stop or a question mark, it's also breaking the rules. And when we do our comprehensions and we ask you to answer in a full sentence, because if you don't have a subject and a verb, it is not a full sentence. And sometimes you can't have a verb on its own. So you need to have objects and other words that go with it to make the sentence a complete thought. Let's have a look at the different types of sentences. In grade 4, we learned that there were 4 different types of sentences. The first one is a statement. A statement is just telling you a fact, or it is sharing an opinion, or even an idea. It will always end in a full stop. It is just giving you information, and you do not have to do anything with that information. Here are some examples of a fact. The teachers are working hard during online learning. You do not have to answer that. You do not have to do anything with it. It's just stating a fact. I think that chocolate ice cream is the best flavor. I'm just giving you my opinion. You do not have to do anything with that opinion. I'm going to join the gym. I'm just telling you my idea. So all of those are statements, and statements always end in a full stop. The second type of sentence is a question. And a question will always end in a question mark. You can get a closed question, which will just need a yes or no answer. Question words that need a yes or no answer are words like do. Do you have a brother? Your answer will be yes or no. Is it hot today? Yes or no. Were you the one playing on the field at break? No. Are you happy that we are doing online teaching? No. Have you done all of your homework today? Yes. Another type of question we call an open-ended question. Those types of questions require much longer answers. not just yes or no. The question words we use to get longer answers are words such as where, why, how, who, when, and what. These question words require longer answers. An exclamation is another type of sentence. An exclamation shows strong feelings or emotions, and it will always end in an exclamation mark. Usually they start with what or how. They sound like statements, but because they're showing strong feelings or emotions, we call it an exclamation. Here are some examples. What a beautiful painting. So it's giving my feeling and my emotion about the painting. How clever you are. Again, giving my feeling. There's a snake. So I'm saying something to make people alert. My tone is going to be, there's a snake. So people listen to me. So there's an exclamation. Help! My foot is stuck is also an exclamation. So the exclamation mark helps us know that the sentence is being said with a strong feeling or an emotion behind it. A command is the fourth type of sentence. A command is giving an order or an instruction. The subject is often not present in the sentence because it is implied or suggested. A command can end in a full stop or it can end in an exclamation mark, depending on the tone. Let's look at this picture. The girl is shouting, "Leave this room immediately." You see, she did not tell us who she's speaking to because it's implied that the person she's speaking to would have heard that it's them that must leave the room. So we do not have a subject often in commands. We can see she's shouting, so to show the tone of how she spoke, we've used the exclamation mark. Leave this room immediately, so we know it's been said with a loud tone. Look at this boy. He looks so much calmer, and he's also giving an order and instruction. He's telling his friend, "Come and play with me." So he's not saying it in a nasty way. He's saying, "Come and play with me," so it gets a full stop. So remember, commands can get full stops or exclamation marks. Other punctuation marks that we have learnt about are commas. Let's remind you of the rules we learnt in grade 4 of when to use a comma. First of all, to separate items in a list. I need to buy a pencil, a ruler, a sharpener, and a notebook. The commas go between each item of the list, but it will end with and. And a colon is also used in a list. You use a colon if the list follows a complete sentence. For example, Jill has 3 hobbies. You could have put a full stop there, but because we're adding more information about the hobbies, we're going to have swimming, comma, dancing, and singing. Jill has 3 hobbies is a complete sentence on its own. That is why we would use a colon. Here, when they said, I need to buy a pencil, I need to buy is not a complete sentence on its own, which is why we did not use a colon there. Another way of using a comma is to separate additional information in a sentence. Maggie, my younger sister, likes to go to bed early. We need to put our comma in between the information to separate the additional information. I could have just said Maggie likes to go to bed early. If I'd left out my younger sister, it wouldn't have changed the meaning of the sentence. We are just giving more information about Maggie. Now guys, you really battled with this in grade 4. So let's look at a few more examples and see if you can figure out where the commas go before I put them in. Frankie and his brother Jed like to play rugby. What bit of information there is not that important? Yes, Jed. We could have just said Frankie and his brother like to play rugby. My mom went to Checkers, the shop down the road, to buy us all chocolate. Yes, the shop down the road is information that isn't very important. We could have said my mom went to Checkers to buy us all chocolate. Oh, and Mrs. Faree forgot her full stop there. Other punctuation marks we've learnt about already are apostrophes. You get an apostrophe of possession. That's showing ownership. If it's Maggie's doll, it shows us that the doll belongs to Maggie. We also get the apostrophe of omission, which shows that letters have been left out. And sometimes you will see this called contraction, but we prefer to use apostrophe of omission. Maggie's playing with her doll. In this case, Maggie's is short for Maggie is playing with her doll. And the I has been left out, so it's been shortened to Maggie's. Other punctuation marks that we've learnt about are inverted commas. They show a quote. This is the one we've learnt about mainly, especially when answering a comprehension. In the famous words of Mr. Mandela, comma, and then you'd put your inverted commas, a winner is a dreamer who never gives up, and close your inverted commas. It is very important when you're doing a comprehension that you use inverted commas, especially if it says, quote from the passage, the line that tells us that Max is happy. Then we can put the quote marks around it. Inverted commas, those are single inverted commas. The double inverted commas here are used for direct speech. We haven't taught you the rules of direct speech yet, but you will see it a lot in our book. Mark said, then we put the inverted commas around the exact words that he spoke. I will help you with your homework. That's exactly what he said. So they get put in double inverted commas. And guys, don't forget, because all sentences need a capital letter. In grade 4, we learned about chips. The C standing for calendar words, all the days of the week, all the months of the year. The H standing for holidays and special days. Remember, Christmas, even if you have Valentine's Day, the D also gets a capital, like your name and surname. I by itself. People, places, and pets' names. And remember, like Mr. Green, or if it was your name and your surname, they both get capital letters. And at the start of sentences, which is very important. We're going to be doing lots of practice with this, guys, in grade 5, so that you can become punctuation fundies. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.